Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to our recess meeting. And at this time, I would like to call to order the recess meeting of the Charles City County Board of Supervisors, this being our town hall meeting for Comcast. I would like to express Mr. Smith's regrets. He could not attend this evening. So we wanted to send those out to Ms. Johnson.
Thank you. Nathan and Evan, if you guys could mute your machine if you're not talking, that would help us on this end because we're working a live crowd as well as streaming online. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are joining us in-house as well as virtually, welcome to the Comcast Town Hall meeting where we will be discussing the broadband project for Charles City County and where we are with Comcast. This evening we have representing Comcast, Nathan Daughtry, who has been our project manager and our lead and who actually helped put together the entire grant process and been with us from day one. So thank you, Nathan, for joining us. And we also have his colleague, Evan Johnson, who will be going over our products tonight and will be sharing the information about our You got me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So for those of you in the audience, we will be unmuting the machine once we finish talking, once Comcast starts to talk, and you'll hear them on the screen as well as on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. For those that are virtual, we will be sharing screens and you'll be able to hear the entire show. So we wanted to just dive right into exactly where we are with Comcast and the project. And so I'm going to turn it over to Nathan, who's going to give us some information and then lead us into introduce Evan, and then we'll take you from there. Nathan, thank you so much. You have it. It's all yours.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. First, I guess I'll go through the technical details. Can everyone hear me all right? Can I get maybe a thumbs up if everyone can hear me okay? Okay. Well, first, I'd like to thank everyone from Charles City County for hosting this. Chairman Cota, Supervisor Black, Ms. Johnson, we appreciate being able to be here with you this evening. This is a pretty exciting partnership, and I appreciate that we can discuss it a little bit tonight. What I thought we'd do in terms of format is I would just briefly introduce the project. I think many folks are already familiar with it generally, but then turn the microphone over to Evan Johnson, who is on Comcast's customer relations team. And I had understood from Ms. Johnson that there was some interest in the different products and services that Comcast would be able to provide. And so he's going to run through what those are for you. And we have a little PDF visual aid that we'll be able to use as we go through this. But first, just briefly, by way of a general introduction of the project, this is the outcome of a joint public-private partnership grant application that Comcast produced with Charles City County. It's something that I think is about 18 months now, possibly in the making, when we first started discussing the potential for this. And so it's nice to be able to see us moving forward with the grant. For those that aren't already familiar, this is a grant that was provided through Virginia's Department of Housing and Community Development's Virginia Telecommunication Initiative, which is a program designed to provide broadband access to unserved areas. And so there are certain criteria that go along with the program in terms of the application. But generally speaking, it is to provide broadband access to the unserved. And so Comcast put together a project with Charles City County that is, in our estimation, is going to serve over 2,000, I think 350 approximately locations. And so we submitted the application last year. Many of you may have seen that the state made the award announcement in Charles City County, which was a pretty exciting event. And now we're in the process of actually constructing that project. So before we go into any more details, I think it would be fun to turn the microphone over to Evan, who's going to talk through just some of the facets of the products that Comcast offers to hopefully make everyone a little bit more familiar with what we are going to be bringing to Charles City County. So with that, Evan, I'll turn it over to you, and as soon as you are ready to just let me know, and I will start sharing my screen.
Thanks, Nathan. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to go over the 5 products actually that Comcast will be bringing to your area once we get the project completed out here. Nathan, you can get the PDF ready, and we'll start taking a look at what we have to offer you guys.
Bear with me, my Chrome is thinking. You know what I can do in the meantime is Miranda, I don't know if you're on, but I just sent you a copy of the PDF. Maybe you can share from your end.
I think I got it sharing. Yeah, I got it. There we go. All right, can everybody see that?
Evan, before you start diving into it, let me see how we can make this full screen. One moment.
Yeah.
So, Evan, if you could wait a moment.
Sure.
Because we've been told we're not getting sound on Facebook or YouTube from
Not a
computers.
problem.
Okay, yeah, people are saying that they can hear, so I'm not really sure what that is. So Miranda, we can go ahead and unmute this machine and we can continue. Evan, you ready to go?
All right. Can we see at least somewhat of the screen? All right. So I'm going to talk about the services that we are going to bring to your community. A connection you can count on. So we're going to start with the service everybody's really looking for is NSR Xfinity Internet product. We're going to be able to bring Wi-Fi to your homes with internet speeds up to a gigabit, which will pretty much run anything you could think of. On a gigabit of speed, you can play all of your games. You can stream 4K video to your televisions. You can do, of course, your schoolwork and you're working from home. So that's really the big draw there. I mean, the internet, once you have that available, will open up a lot of new doors. We'll get to that one later. Once you have our internet, of course, you'll have a full suite of Xfinity apps. And the good thing about the apps are, since a lot of us are getting internet for our children and all, it allows you to control your internet with more control than ever before. You can set profiles so that if you have a younger child, the internet cuts off at a certain time of night. You can set up guests so that when your guests come over, they can use internet only the times they're there. We also use the apps to monitor somewhat of the traffic to make sure that nothing harmful is coming through. We're not monitoring everything you're doing, but we're just checking to make sure that nobody's trying to get to you, not what's going out. And it really gives you the peace of mind that you have full control over the internet in your household. So combining the Xfinity internet with the Xfinity apps will definitely make that whole setup a lot more powerful than it's been in the past. Our next big piece of the pie is our Xfinity X1 television product. I know that some of you guys have had analog cable, and this will blow it out of the water. The X1 has the voice remote that we've actually won awards for. Also, it'll bring apps to your television. So in combination with our Xfinity Internet product, when you have the X1, you get all the apps that you can see here. Peacock, which is
Evan, a moment. Mute me, Miranda.
Somebody's not muted somewhere.
So it's Evan. We're getting feedback from your computer. I know Nathan just had to get back off. Aisha, if you could let Nathan back in show. It's like we're getting feedback from your connection, Nathan. Everybody else is clear.
it's is it like an echo?
It's like you're breaking up. It's like your sound is distorted.
Okay. I don't see
Ask Nathan to say something.
Nathan, can you say something to do a test?
Yes, can you hear me all right?
Keep talking a little bit. It seems like you're distorted as well. Aisha, what's the problem?
I think everybody's distorted right now.
Everyone sounds all right on my end, and
Everybody's distorted.
Unmute yourself.
Unmuted. I cannot hear myself either. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm still distorted.
All right, Evan, you can continue.
Okay. So going through some of the apps that we're going to start beginning to offer, the new one here is Peacock. That's our own streaming service that is included for free for all of our X1 customers. And we have such NBC hits as 30 Rock on there, some movies, all the Law and Order you could ever want to see. But we also have most of the big named streaming apps as well, built right into the X1 interface, right into your cable box. So the Prime Video, Hulu, Netflix. We're still working with some other providers to get more in there, and still more to come, but we keep adding. And you also see some free ones in there too, such as Tubi and others that don't even require an outside subscription, and you'll find more programming there. Additionally, as I mentioned before, we have an Xfinity Stream app, which allows you to stream television in your home from your devices. So you don't have to have a box on every television. We also have a deal with Roku and a few television manufacturers, such as LG and Samsung, to provide the app. And it's another way to view your entire Xfinity lineup in your home without having to get an additional cable box for every room. So,
Evan, can you pause for a moment? Thanks, Evan. You can continue.
okay. We were talking about the Xfinity Stream app. That'll be on certain TVs and devices, and also on your cell phones and your tablets. So that's another way to take a look at it. Next up are our two options for phone service now. So we offer Xfinity Mobile to all of our Xfinity Internet subscribers. As you see, most of our new services do work in tandem with our internet products. Okay. And we also will be offering our Comcast Digital Voice home phone service, which is more like a traditional home phone than a mobile phone, with all the popular calling features. But those will be two options for phone service that will also be brought to you as Xfinity customers. Back to our apps. Of course, we do everything through our apps. The account management is much easier now. We have an app that allows you to set up your payments and check even if you're in an outage, tech arrival times, so that it'll be a lot easier than having to call in and worrying about waiting in line. A lot of the stuff is available real time to you as a customer through the apps. And our final product is our home security product, where we offer a full suite of home security with cameras, 24-hour monitoring in the homes to provide that last peace of mind. And they also work well in tandem with a lot of smart devices, such as thermostats and lighting controls, so that you can get that full smart home control through Xfinity. And that's a brief overview of the products that we have now.
All right. Thank you so much, Evan. Nathan, it seems like you're back in show. And
I
ladies and
think so.
gentlemen, we're gonna have can you do a sound test just in case?
Can everyone hear me all right?
Yep. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn it back over to Nathan, who's going to give us some more information. And then we see that there are many questions that are coming through Facebook Live and YouTube Live that we're going to get to during our Q&A session. And so, Nathan, we'll turn it back over to you to talk a little bit more about the processes and where we are on the project. Nathan?
Sure. So I'm sorry that we had some of those technical difficulties before. But hopefully what you were able to see through Evan's presentation is really that Comcast has a pretty wide scope of products that we can provide folks in Charles City County. In addition to what Evan spoke about for our residential services, we also have a whole scope of business services as well that we'll be able to offer. And there's an equal amount of variation that is that's available from those folks, ranging from products designed for folks doing business from home, all the way up to large scale industrial clients. So there's a lot of variation, and hopefully folks will be able to find a product and a package that works for them. Now, we have various pricing that is that we'll be releasing as we get closer to the project being complete for everyone. But we we generally have a pretty wide range of options for folks, not only in terms of the products, but we have standard pricing. Sometimes there are promotions that come into play as well. We have packages that are for individual products, and we can also bundle services together at the same time as well. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat as we go through here, and so I apologize if I'm bouncing back and forth a little bit. But before I think I get into any of the specific questions, I'd just like to say that this grant is designed for the project to be complete next summer, and there's each one of these grant projects have a 12-month window to complete the project. Comcast is we're working hard to build expeditiously and quickly. We've gone through and have been doing actual construction in the county for the past few months, and we're a good portion of the way through that construction. So we're moving forward with good pace, and our plan is to continue to move forward at good pace until the project is complete. There's a process that we have for getting service to folks. So what I think residents can expect is that we'll be sending out mailers, postcards with additional information, and the project is designed to provide service to those residences that are within 300 feet of the roadway where we will be doing the construction. If it turns out that there's a home that is beyond that distance, we can still provide service, but there may be an aid to construction that is that's needed to complete that build. And if that is the case, we work with every homeowner on an individual basis to work through that process and determine exactly what the distances are and what any costs may be associated with it. We don't have at this point the full list of those addresses. What I think is a process that has worked well for us in the past has been for folks to reach out to the county if you're interested, and we keep a running list of those homes that have interest, so that we can then reach out as we're once construction is complete to address any specific needs for service. So again, the timeline, the grant allows the construction to continue until next summer, but we're working through the construction, and if we can beat that time, we certainly will do that. So, sorry, Michelle, I'm just trying to look through here and see if there are any recurring questions that that happen to come up. Some folks, it looks like, have asked about the coverage area. So we have a design map that that we've produced. We won't have anything that is complete until the project is complete, because we try and provide some flexibility to make changes as necessary as the project is going on. But what we ask is, again, if you're interested in service, reaching out to us or to Ms. Johnson at the county, so we can have a running list of those folks who are interested in service in the county. I see that there is.
Nathan, if you could pause for a moment. I'm sorry, they was trying to let me back and show. Can you pause for a moment?
Sure.
And Mr. Cody, you want to unmute?
Right, much feedback and echo in here, but you mentioned something about customers could reach out to the county. Can you revisit what you said on that?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we'll be sending out mailings to the homes that we're including in the project. But in talking with Ms. Johnson, we have a sort of running list of anyone who reaches out, so that we have that additional group. If if they reach out to the county, we then have a specific list, so we know that they have interest in the project too.
Nathan, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I've been begging for a service map. And you say that you're going to send out postcards and notifications to homes in the service area. I would love to know what the service area is exactly. And I've been asking for this information really since the inception of this project, when Governor Northam came down and awarded us the 3.9 million. And I can't get an answer as to what homes are included in the service area. So how can we go about obtaining that?
Sure. So we have a design map that is, again, it's sort of a working document that we have. As far as any specific homes, that's something that we will work on as we get closer to the end of the project. Again, if there is anyone who has interest, we're happy to try and address that. What we're looking to do, Supervisor Coda, in this stage, is to make sure that we are going through and building out so that we complete that 2,350 location component of the grant. And what's an additional layer for that, once any of our construction is complete, is we work to see if we have ways to expand beyond that initial grant determined amount or figure. And so it's an ongoing process to increase the level of access that there is in the county.
You mentioned that you just mentioned that you wanted to include the 2,350 homes to satisfy the grant. Do you or do you not have a list of those 2,350 homes? Yes or no?
We have a working list of the areas that we are going. We won't have a final list until the project is complete. So we are in the middle of construction right now, and so I like to talk about where we are once we've already completed the construction, and so that's the process for that.
So the answer is you do not have a list of the 2,350 homes that are included in the original grant. Is that true or not?
What we have is a design map, and we work together to finalize the project area as we go through it.
The design map that I have, is that the one that you put out that had the little black lines on the green map?
I believe the design. It may have been. I believe the design map doesn't have black lines on it, but we did have one that that had lines on it. May have. So those are the general areas where we are going to be going out to.
Okay, so as I sit here tonight, as chairman of the Board of Supervisors of Charles City County, I cannot answer a constituent's question as to whether or not they will be included, because the original map that you sent out, it appeared to be a model of the existing Comcast television cable line that's on the pole, which actually stops at my house on West Cool Hill Road. However, when you were laying the fiber, you stopped about a half a mile up the road. I'm not complaining. I don't care if I get it or not, to be honest with you, but I do care very much so if the majority of my constituents can get it. And I do care very much about whether or not I can tell them yes or no. And I just can't grasp and put my hands around the fact that Comcast is spending $5 million on a project that you can't tell who's going to get it and who isn't at this point. And I'm sorry to be such, straightforward, but when you're getting bombarded by people that are finally have the opportunity to possibly get internet, and I can't tell them yes or no, and evidently you can't either. And so I would really like more answers than we're getting, and I'm sorry to be so blunt.
No, that's perfectly fine. We noted in the grant application, we are looking to provide service to 2,350 locations in the county. I mean, I think that is a significant number. And again, as we work through the construction process, we're happy to have conversations with residents and talk to them about their home. What we're looking to do now is simply get that construction complete, and then once we go through the whole construction process, we'll then be able to talk about serviceability to individual addresses.
2,350 homes is a wonderful figure. I just wish you could tell me which 2,350 locations it was. I'll go. And I would like to apologize to my constituents for not having information that I was hoping we would have at this meeting tonight.
Well, this is a project that I think is a pretty exciting project. I understand that there is a process that we have to go through to complete the construction, and that it does take some time. But I think you could see from just from the services that we offer that we're going to continue to work as we go through it to provide that access to those addresses. It is an iterative process, and I understand that that everyone would like to see it all complete, and I appreciate that we're still going through it. But we are working it in an expeditious fashion to really increase access in Charles City County. It's a significant increase.
Please.
Nathan, this is Mr. Black. I'm just curious as to what questions are we looking to actually answer tonight. I know one of the main things was the service map. What kind of questions are you willing to entertain that would be pertinent to our audience and our residents in Charles City County?
Well, from speaking with Ms. Johnson beforehand, I think there were some questions about what the Comcast services were. There were questions about how we're moving forward with the project, and I know that there were those who were interested in some of the parameters and of how these projects work. And so I wanted to, I hope that we've been able to answer to many of those questions. This process is one that is, as I said, it started about 1.5 years ago. So it's an ongoing process, and I think that we're moving ahead with a pretty good pace on the project.
Nathan, it's great that you're telling about all the products that will be available, but I'm going to reiterate again. I wish that I could tell the people in this county who will be able to enjoy those products. And I'm going to be very adamant about this. I cannot believe that a $5 million project is coming into this county, and you don't have any better planning as to where it's going to be run to and where it's not going to be run to. Forget it.
I'll be happy to check on the latest design map. I think be happy to do it.
When would you be able to do that and provide that information to the county?
Be happy to check on it this week.
I would love to see it. I've been asking for it for months. So I'll look forward to your response before the week's over, hopefully. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask that if you, Miranda, if you could share your information, your email address. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question about your specific address, we are going to put up an email address that you can send your address to. We don't want you to post it here for privacy reasons, but if you could post your address, your name and your address at the email address that's going to be provided here shortly. That way we can get a running list to Comcast to make sure that you are captured as they are doing the analysis once the construction is getting close. We do know that Nathan, I think the last report I showed, we are about 44% complete of the construction, which is ahead of schedule.
That's correct.
Is that correct? So we started this project mid to late June, and so we're almost 50% completed as of right now. And so if you all could share your your address and your name to the address that's going to be provided on the screen here shortly, and just send those over, and then we're going to have a running list that we're going to get over to Comcast. So as they are drawing closer to the end of the construction, we'll have a running list of addresses to analyze.
And I'd just like to say, while we're still going through the construction piece, so don't have maybe specific addresses right now. Just to remind the group, this is a project that is spanning a huge portion of the county. I mean, it's a big construction project that is going east to west, and so. It is something where we're really looking forward to be providing service to a large number of county residents.
Nathan, is there any humanly way possible that you could provide a hypothetical situation that one home standing alone by itself is 500 feet off of the main trunk line? You will cover 300 feet. Is there any way you could give me a price that it would cost that one home to run it for 200 more feet to get to them? Because that hasn't been answered at all yet. You just say it's on a one-to-one basis. Well, with that situation, hypothetically, what would the cost be?
Well, that is absolutely correct. It is something where we have a design and serviceability team, and they look at every address on an individual basis to come up with what any cost might be for a driveway that is beyond that 300 feet. And there are variables that can come into play for any home. And so that's why we like to have folks reach out to us, and then we do that. We provide that individual service where we take a look at their home. And we will work with folks if to make sure that it's going along the proper path in the home. Sometimes folks do some trenching on their own. There are a few different variables that come into play. And again, that's why we like to have that individual conversation.
Nathan, I got another question. I feel like we're too early in the process right now to have this town hall. Is this possible to revisit and have another town hall where we're closer to providing maps and more specific details on this project so that we don't bring people here for expectations and questions to be answered about the service that they may receive later in the future? Like, could we get a specific date or a date in which we can have a town hall where we can answer some of these questions?
Mr. Black, I'm happy to speak with Ms. Johnson about what might work best for the county. Again, we are where we are in the construction process. We do have additional ways that we're going to notify folks about the service and services that we have coming up. And so there will certainly be more communication that goes on about our services and the project as well.
Ms. Johnson, why don't we run through some of the questions that the people have? We've got quite a few that have come in so that we can address the constituents, because this meeting is for the constituents to get them. So if you would like to take over and go down through the questions, and so that hopefully Nathan or either Evan can answer those. Say it again. That'll work fine. You want me to do it? Okay. I'm gonna leave this out. Folks, for you in the audience, I need to unmute, sorry. Okay, folks, for you all that are in the audience here tonight, if you would like to come up and ask questions that hopefully the Comcast individuals or the board or Ms. Johnson can answer, please come to the podium. Just state your name. You don't need to state your address unless you want to. And we'll be more than happy to field any questions. Now's your time.
Ms. Johnson, this is Nathan. I don't have any. I can't hear anyone. I don't know if anyone else
You can tell this evening.
But not for you, Nathan.
What'd you say?
I'm talking to Nathan. I'm sorry. He said he can't hear, so these questions are not for you, Nathan.
And believe me, I'm here. I was here to.
Nathan, could you hear Miranda?
No, I couldn't hear anyone but you just now. I heard Miss Dakota, but he cut off.
Okay, we will. Didn't any? Who's picking me up? We have here is who's going to get it. And since they don't know, it's no way of you being able to answer that yourself. And also, are we on Comcast right now? Here. Comcast cable TV is available to some areas on the call. No, I'm talking about is the county office building, what we're looking at right here, is this Comcast? Verizon? Thank you. Because I was wondering if this is going to be Comcast, a lot of people wouldn't want it. I'm glad you threw some humor in here. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience before we go on to the virtual?
Joy Harris, Vice Chair of the School Board. I just got one question. Comcast said they sent out postcards. Have they started sending them out? And if so, why can't they give the addresses in which they send those out? Just a question.
Good point. I have to remember, but yes, I'll ask him that again.
But had they already started sending them out, Ms. Dakota? They had? Okay.
Anyone else in the audience? Come on.
My name is Janice Charity. We were told that everybody would not be connected at the same time. So when will connections start?
He said the project will be completed by next summer.
I understand the completion date, but
I was going to say though, they made a statement at an earlier meeting that they would start signing up people before the end of the year. This calendar year that we're in. And I'll ask him that question again in just a few minutes, okay?
so that means the connections will start before the end of the year?
Say that again, ma'am?
Will connections start before the end of the year?
Supposedly, but I'm going to verify with him in just a second. As soon as I take all these, then I'm going to take all these questions and ask him over the virtual.
Okay,
So I'm going to ask him that question in just a minute, but it's supposed to, yes, ma'am.
thank you.
I'm going to ask him everyone up here in just a second.
Nathan, can you hear the questions that are coming in?
Anyone else like to address the board?
I heard the last one.
All right. At this time, I'm going to go back to Nathan.
I cannot hear Mr. Coda.
Okay, just give him a second, Nathan. You ready to unmute? I mean, mute and unmute here.
Let me know when you're ready.
Let me ask a question. Mute really quick, Miranda. So, ladies and gentlemen that were on virtual, we had a few questions that came in from our podium, which Mr. Coder is going to reiterate and ask Comcast at this time. And so just to let you know, there is an address up on the screen. If you want to email mpine@co.charlescity.va.us, that's going to be the email address for your name and address so we can start a running address list to provide to Comcast. And so Mr. Coder will we'll go ahead and review the questions that came from our audience, and then we will review the questions that came via the chat. Mr. Coder?
Thank you.
Throughout all districts.
It's on the screen now, right there, and then we'll make it available on Facebook as well as our website.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, folks. Ms. Bowman, we are going to have to answer that internally, the question about the conference call, and we'll have Mrs. Wendy Payne, wherever she is, get back with you on the possibility of interlinking a conference call for people. Rita Smith asked, who actually heads up this project, Charles City County or Comcast? Because it appears that Comcast was pretty much telling Charles City what they were and were not going to do. That was one question. Nathan, you can take that.
Well, the project is, as I said, it's a partnership between the county and Comcast. When it comes to the design is something that Comcast has put together, and again, we certainly take input from the county about areas of interest. So I've had conversations with Ms. Johnson over the months about areas in which she feels would be good to highlight. And so as we continue this project, and then once it's completed into the future, that information is going to be useful for us as we take a look at how we can work on expanding access to the internet. So it's the design itself is something that Comcast produces, but it is a joint effort. And as I said, we welcome all feedback. We really do. If there and this is why we're talking about folks reaching out with their particular address. If there are areas that or addresses that can inform what we do, we'll absolutely do that.
Okay. Mr. Walton, I think we've gone over your time again. Ms. Joy Harris pointed out that you have already started sending out postcards to a lot of the residents. And is there a possibility to get a copy of the list of addresses to Mrs. Johnson of the postcards you're going to be sending, announcing your service, and that hopefully they'll sign on?
Well, as I said, we want to go through the whole project before we put together any kind of final list, because it's a project that takes months to execute, to construct, and so what I like to do is be able to have that construction flexibility so that we can work through any particular streets or addresses that we do, and then we have the list at the end that that encompasses those 2,350 locations. But again, if there's any particular resident who has interest in the project, let us know, and again, we'll have that conversation with them.
Okay. As we get into the questions from the virtual side, We have people that have said that they have contacted you with no response numerous times, and we'll get to that in a minute. I want to finish up the questions that I took from the audience. When will the first signups start from Comcast to where you're actually signing up constituents in Charles City County for service?
I don't have a particular date on that, but again, the whole project has to be complete, meaning we have to be providing service by the middle of next year. And we are working to as expeditiously as we can. And as it was noted, we're at about 44% complete with the construction now. So we're moving forward with all of that quickly. I understand that that particularly in this as the coronavirus is affecting folks, people want to have access, and so Comcast has a variety of measures that we've put in place to try and increase access, and in a lot of cases. That involves or would involve for Charles City County possibly going to a hotspot that we have in the area, because Comcast has opened up its Wi-Fi hotspot network through the end of the year. But again, we understand in terms of the construction project that folks like to see us working, and so again, we're doing that expeditiously. We're moving quickly on the construction.
Nathan, when the addresses are submitted to you all, how soon will constituents receive a response as to when they will receive service, or if they're eligible to receive service? Because I don't think that there's a fear that sending their email address to you all and not receiving a response is to if they're eligible, and then waiting until June 2021 and then find out at that point that they're not receiving services would be it would be devastating to our residents. So when can they expect a response as to if they're eligible or they're able to receive service?
Mr. Black, I don't have a particular date, but what I can say is what we are doing with those addresses again is we're compiling them. I'm providing them to my design team to inform their work, and we're moving ahead as quickly as we can. I think that it's important that we do that, because we want to get this construction project really advanced as quickly as possible. And so we're really trying to be efficient with the construction, move forward with it as quickly as we can, and again have that information that's provided back from the county to help inform what we do. So what I can say is, while I don't have a specific date, we do have all of that information, and we're looking to have that conversation so that we can, certainly complete the grant and increase access for the county.
So it's not possible as you all go along and receive these addresses to say, yes, you're eligible, or no, you're not eligible, as the process goes along.
I'll be happy to, Mr. Black, check and see if how exactly that might work. I don't want to make a statement to someone that may end up changing as construction continues, and so that is something that is that's guiding the approach.
Okay, Nathan, I'm going to start running through the questions rather quickly from that was taken in virtually. How do you know? I'm going to try to go down and just filter through the actual questions versus the comments. Some of this stuff we've already answered, some of it we have not. As far as a list of roads that have a list of roads, I'm sorry, Ms. Pate, but probably the map that I overlaid the that I put out that had the roads, some of the roads overlaid on them, is about all we're going to get at this point. Someone is asking, Nathan, can you at least name specific roads? Is that a possibility? Yes or no?
So again, we have the design map, and I can follow up with Ms. Johnson to talk through those, how that is laid out. At this point, again, I don't want to go into any specific address because we want to be able to complete the project, and have that flexibility to go through with the project. But I'll be happy to talk with Ms. Johnson about that. Again, we've been having regular conversations about the progression of the project.
So it's safe to say that we will not have this information until the project is complete, which you are estimating to be next summer. Is that correct?
Well, as far as the timeline, the grant affords until next summer to complete the project. We're working to move more quickly than that. Again, we've been doing construction throughout the fall, making progress month over month, and now we're at 44%. So I think that's ahead of schedule at this point.
Okay, Elizabeth Harper, you asked, is there any District 3 coverage? And there is District 3 coverage by the original map. However, I don't think we can commit to any certain addresses, but most of the Glebe and Great Wilcox Next Road, that entire loop there, was covered on the first original map that I put out on my Facebook page and was also put on the county website. Is that correct, Ms. Johnson? I did put out one that had some of the street names overlaid onto that map. However, I can't commit to the accuracy because, as I mentioned earlier, even on my street, it has proven not to be that accurate. Donald Charity, we will get back with you on that. There are no connections being made now. As far Barber Hill, as far as Woodbourne Road, we will try to get back with you on that as soon as we can, as soon as we have any information whatsoever. Shelley, we've gone over the map quite a few times tonight. So I think that if you look on the county website, you will see the initial map that was released. Steve Hoyt, I asked that question, did not get an answer. Jose Fernandez, this design map, I will say, was designed prior to COVID. And COVID has changed the needs of everything in every community across the whole United States. So, and it definitely affects Charles City with the lack of internet service. And before we leave, I'm going to talk about the wireless internet, even though I tried to separate these two, but I do want to give the latest information on the wireless internet. Let me mute and you can go right ahead.
One of the things that came out on Friday from Governor Northam is that there is $30 million additional funding for broadband services. The county has started the application process with hopes to partner with the internet service provider. I'm not sure if it will be Comcast or another provider too. So we will be submitting our application to fill in the gaps for that additional fiber build out through the governor's $30 million.
Yeah, I signed the contract on that just a while ago over the application. I saw that when it came through. That's part of the CARES Act, correct?
That's additional. That's outside of what we have. That's the governor.
This is extra outside of what we've already received on the CARES Act. So there, that was done. That was executed just a few minutes ago when I signed checks. So that will be going out in the mail tomorrow. Steve Hamner, we did not receive a answer on cost per foot. Adam Brown, 5 million. We expect answers. I totally agree with you, sir. Juanita Pierpace, we have discussed that. We do not have an answer at this time. I can't answer DJ's question either. And I'm just running right through really quickly to go through all these that have come in.
And Mr. Cota, while you're looking through those, I'll just I think it's worth mentioning that this is a project that is receiving state grant funding, but it is also a project in which Comcast is putting up a good amount of money of its own too. So I think that one of the things that at least for me is a motivating factor is that we are looking to try and expand out so that we can get more provide more access to folks. It's in Comcast's interest to move forward quickly, just as it is in the residents' interest to try and sign up quickly themselves. That's something that is certainly motivating us.
Thank you, Nathan. Elizabeth Wirt, I've got your comment on the steering committee, and that is something that we will be talking about probably tomorrow. Alice Walton, we will look at that also. One says, I have been calling for months and was told I would get a call back and never have. I was given a ticket number each time, only to be told when I called back that the ticket was closed. How could it be closed if you all never call me back? Could you answer that, Nathan?
I'm sorry, that was frustrating. I can't speak to the specifics of why the ticket was closed. I'm just not familiar with it. But I can say that we'll be happy to reach out and try and get that resolved. Generally speaking, when Comcast goes through a serviceability process with someone who calls up our 800 number, it sounds like that may have been what occurred. We do have those tickets that are assigned. With the case of this project, where we're still building out the network, it's again, I think it's good to get some of that information directly from the county, so that we can make sure that we think about it from a design perspective, whereas some of the 800 number folks are thinking about it from an after the fact perspective for networks that have already been built. And I don't see the quote that question in the chat in front of me.
I need to know.
But
So we're gonna have a real meeting, a real town hall to get the real facts.
Can I quote you on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
At this point, I know Mr. Black just asked me, made the comment that he does not think that this is being very productive. Mm-hmm. And at what point do we feel as a county that we can actually have a meeting that will be productive and answer questions for our constituents who we represent? So I've gone just about through all of them on there. So I'm going to speak very quickly on the wireless internet, which is another option for internet that is coming in this county. And then, Ms. Johnson, if it's okay with you, I would like to end this meeting. Okay. The wireless internet, I sent an email out yesterday because I received pictures from the provider. They are loading this week, and last week they were loading the new tower in Roxbury that will be transmitting to the other two. and tower. So that is coming. They originally said that they would start signing up on the 16th, and I asked for verification of that. I did not check my email before I left, and I'm sure he has responded. But that, I would think, but hopefully by the end of October, the signups for that service will be coming. There's been a big concern that the board has addressed initially, and we're going to be addressing more as we go, about coverage for District 3, which is Mr. Black's district. And as soon as the transmitting tower in the industrial center starts transmitting to the Ruthville Tower and also the tower that's behind our sheriff's office, we are going to move the original tower that was built in the Roxbury Industrial Center that was too short to clear the landfill down to District 3. We've already secured a spot for that. So therefore, that will be going into service down in District 3 to expand. I didn't hit nothing. Can everyone still hear me on Facebook? Somebody please let me know if you can hear me on Facebook. Can you hear me? Hold on just one second. I want to make sure that everybody hears me. If anyone... Can anyone hear me on Facebook? If you can, please comment quickly. Okay, Juanita says they can hear me. Can you all hear me in the audience? Okay, I'm going to speak up just a little bit. Sorry if I'm loud. But someone just asked, what is the internet service? That is SCS Broadband that we've been working with since the inception of 5 years ago. And we finally built another tower that will actually get that signal throughout the county. And so therefore, I was saying that the original tower will be moved down to District 3. I do anticipate the Board of Supervisors, after that is installed, looking at other areas that we will be lacking service with our wireless internet. They are currently providing ground-based internet in the industrial center very successfully, and we are going to have that service up and running and hopefully having people start to get signed up before the end of this month. My phone number is under my picture on the county website. Feel free to call me. I know Mr. Black is always available. Mr. Smith, who couldn't make it tonight, he's always available. And DJ, you asked me to repeat about moving the tower. We are going to move the original tower that was too short to clear the landfill down into District 3 to expand service down there even more with the wireless internet. So I appreciate everybody coming. Sorry for the frustration. And we hope to have another town hall meeting as soon as we possibly can. But I, as one board member, and I know Mr. Black is with me 100%, we're going to have all questions for all of these answers prior to our next town hall so that we can give those answers to you. And we would like to thank Nathan for coming, and also Evan. And we hope that you all will come back and join us again at our next town hall meeting, and we can answer all the questions that's been here tonight. Ms. Johnson, at that point, I am going to recess the Board of Supervisors meeting until 6 o'clock on the 19th of October for our public hearings. Thank you all very much.